Welcome back, everyone. Chief Kevin Martin is with us today. To his left will be the new police chief coming in next week. We have Major Angel Cortes is with us. Thank you guys for coming in. Appreciate it.
Oh, it's my pleasure.
Now, I was asking you, Major, all about the testing process. For those who don't know how this works, explain what the process is to determine who the new chief is.
Well, we had to go through an assessment process, and there were two eligible majors, and the eligibility, you had to be 2 years in the rank of major, plus 19 years on, Chief, is that
Yes.
correct? With the police department.
Okay.
And then whoever finished with the highest grade gets promoted to chief.
Tell me about that test. Or this is how naive I am about it. Are you sitting in a room? Where are you doing the test?
Well, it's an assessment. It's not,
okay.
It's not a written test, and they break it up into certain areas.
Okay.
And without trying to give too much information
Sure.
away, because we have two lieutenants taking their majors test on Thursday, but they break it up into a series of 3 parts, and let's say some of it has to do with public speaking, and some of it might have to do with dealing with the citizen complaint or something like that, but real life experience.
And how you would handle it.
And how you would handle it, correct.
Oh, okay. Take me back to when you had to take that. Was that nerve-wracking? I think it would be.
It was very much so. It was a very similar process then, too, because
Yeah.
there was a written portion, there was a public speaking portion, and then there was a scenario portion where the role player presented you with a very difficult circumstance, and you had to show how you could react and lead through that process.
And you had no idea what it was going to be. They're just coming up with it probably on the spot, I assume, right?
Well, they had their planning done ahead of time, but yeah, you do not know what the scenario is going to be until it happens.
Now, when you transition from major to chief, when you think back to that day, is there advice that you would give the current major going into that position that you think, oh yeah, if I'd have known back then some of these things? Any advice you would give him?
Well, yeah, and we have actually had a couple of meetings already now talking at length about really the mistakes I made. And for instance, one of the things I told him that I learned pretty quickly was that you have to be out there and visible in the public.
Sure.
And whether it's coming into venues like this one and speaking with you, or the events like the event we've got coming up on June 4th, the Soldiers of Honor, Block Parade, those kind of things. There's a very real and legitimate expectation of the public that you're going to be out there where people can get to know you, and because in getting to know you, that builds that trust. And that has to start at the top of the organization and work its way down. Yeah,
and nobody is a big fan of doing that, public speaking necessarily. That's something is that something you think, okay, maybe I gotta work on that, because nobody likes doing it, right?
Well, you know, it's part of the job.
Yeah.
So you go in knowing that whether you like doing it or not, it's something that you're going to have to do.
Yeah. You know, the other thing I think about, you have such a history with community policing, and one of the founders, and is that something you want to build on as you get into that role?
Absolutely. It's been something that we've been doing for so many years. It's ingrained in us, and sometimes we have to change our strategy because of certain situations that we're presented with. But it's something that I plan on definitely continuing in one form or another.
How important is it now, and I think you and I have talked about this too, how important is it now we see the national headlines with an incident will happen here with, you know, somebody getting roughed up in the public, and then it all kind of reflects on all police departments around the nation, probably unfairly, but does that make community policing even more important in your eyes?
Absolutely. We have to get to the point where no matter what happens across the nation, that the people who live in this community know that their police department is not involved with that, and that they have trust in us to do the right thing.
Yeah. Is it tough too, because I've heard people that have gotten, in a sense, promotions, and all of a sudden people you were working with, now since you're their boss, is that a tough transition? Is it tougher for you, or maybe tougher for them?
I personally, and I think the chief can speak to this too, I think the higher up in rank you promote to, the easier it gets, because the main workers, the people who actually work on the road, are the patrol staff. And the hardest part for me was promoting from a patrol officer to sergeant, because those were the same people that you work with every day on the street.
Sure.
But as you go up in the administration, you just don't work as closely with them, so it makes it a little bit easier.
Yeah, it's probably easier for you because you've worked at every level getting up to this point too. So, well, best of luck, Chief. It's always been nice having you on. We appreciate that.
Well, and if I just may add one thing too, that over all the years that I've known Angel, he's always proven himself time and time again to be an excellent leader, and I know that's just going to get even better.
Yeah,
with this new challenge for him.
Best of luck to you. Congratulations to you. Appreciate you guys coming on. It's good seeing you. Don't go away. Medical news coming up next on Noon Edition.